Namaste everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share with you about anger management and how anger actually affects your life in every aspect, including spiritual. My name is Pria. I'm very passionate about sharing positivity and empowering others to live their life to their fullest. We're all creators. We have the capability to create our life the way we want. So let's make it beautiful together. Let's dive in. So today's topic is about anger management. So what is anger? Basically, anger is a feeling. Just like all the other emotions you get, anger is a feeling we get when we feel irritated or frustrated. And it can go to extreme cases where you act upon that emotion, and some people can get very aggressive. So that's what anger is about. Basically, when you learn that it's just an emotion, then just like other emotions, you should know it is manageable and you should be able to control it. So is anger bad? Well, you can look at it in many ways. I think as human, we have the tendency to get angry a lot of the time for unnecessary reasons, but then there are reasons where you can be angry for something that happened. For an average person, I'm talking about not in spirituality, but for an average person, sometimes it's right to get that anger because of something that truly requires you to express that. So when anger happens, there are different ways of expressing it, or not expressing it, coping with it. So the first one is expressing it. And expressing it is actually a good, positive behavior, but it depends on how you're expressing it. So when you're expressing anger, if you're assertive and you tell someone, hey, this is my space, this is how I am, I don't like this, and this is not making me feel comfortable, or this is not making me feel good, this doesn't add to my value, however you want to word it. But being assertive about it rather than aggressive is very good. If you're aggressive, then you need to work on that, and it's okay to get counseling for that, and reading books to manage that, and doing so many different things that you can manage your aggressiveness. But it's important when you're assertive to know what comes out of your mouth, how you communicate with someone. Those are important. So if you're one of those people that likes to express it and you want to express it, then make sure you are conscious about what's coming out of your mouth, how you're reacting to things, and how you're wording these things, where you're not hurting someone, but then you're also standing up for yourself and saying, hey, this is not right for me. Okay, so make sure you read upon those things and learn to communicate better in terms of expressing. And then there's also suppressing. When you're suppressing your anger, it's not always a bad thing, because sometimes you just can't express your anger to everyone. But then it actually hurts you because you're holding on to it. So the best way to suppress it is to change that. When you're taking it inward, make sure you change that to something positive, something that you can cope with, rather than holding it where your blood pressure goes high and it's actually affecting your own health. And if you're one of those people that holds on to things, and then because you couldn't express it, you're actually expressing it to yourself constantly throughout the day, it's actually really affecting you. Anger actually hurts you more than the other person. And obviously, it depends on how you're expressing. It can hurt the other person as well. But if you're holding on to it, it's actually hurting you. So make sure you learn to let go. It's okay to get angry. It's a feeling, and then you have to recognize that it's a feeling and you got angry, and then you can think about it as find different perspective to the situation, because it doesn't have to be anger with someone, right? It could be with the situation, it could be with yourself, whatever it is. Learn to have different perspective, have a conversation rather than holding grudges and feeling resentment. So make sure you change it to something positive. You work towards something that benefits you, and not hurting others as well, and then move on. Just don't hold on to it. Okay. And then the next one is being calm. So that you need more practice with. When someone is very agitating or irritating to you, and frustrating you, it's easy to get angry, but sometimes being calm in that moment is actually helping you, and it helps the other person, because then you're not just yelling at the other person. So some of the ways that you can cope with that is through focusing on your breathing when you're angry, or removing yourself from that environment and going out for a walk, and kind of release that energy, or go for an exercise. I hear a lot of people, when they're frustrated, they actually go work out and get rid of that energy. And emotions are energy. So the minute you focus on a different energy, then the anger will dissipate as well. It will go away, because you're focusing your energy on something else. So these are some of the techniques that you can manage anger. But obviously there are so many studies, so many articles online, and you can go for counseling if you truly feel like you have an anger issue, because it affects you and it affects the other people as well. Now, how you should be if you're a spiritual person. Basically, anger is totally opposite of spirituality. Because the purpose of spirituality, the higher purpose of spirituality, is bliss. How can you be in bliss when you're in anger? How can you be in bliss when you're feeling frustrated and irritated, and you're feeling resentment, and all these grudges? You can't have bliss when you have all these things. So your ideal goal is to feel like, almost have anger to 0, like 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10. Bring it down to 0. That's your goal when you're in spirituality. Now, there are some aspects where you can, feel like, oh, you have the right to be angry. But when you go into spirituality, it works slightly different, because you see things differently. You have a different perspective to things, about people, about things around you, the detachment and all that. So if you're in practicing to be more spiritual and get, working towards enlightenment, then obviously you need to work on your anger, because anger is something you shouldn't be having if you're working towards that. So the best way to do is obviously create a space for yourself, because I'm not saying remove yourself from all the people that are making you angry, because some of these people could be your family members. And it doesn't mean if you're going into spirituality that you get rid of your family members, because part of spirituality is being of service and doing your duty as a family member as well. So even if you have a spouse or someone that really irritates you, maybe you just need to learn to say things differently and work things out differently and see things in a different way, rather than leaving yourself. But then there are situations where you could remove yourself, or at least when you're practicing something like doing meditations and stuff like that, then you have to remove yourself and create a good space for yourself to grow, because growing is important. Universe has so much to offer us, but we need to have that space to intake that in. And if you're always constantly in consumption of anger, there's no space for you to grow. So make sure you create a space for yourself where you could be in that bliss moment, in every moment actually, but at least when you're practicing spirituality, make sure you have a space for yourself where you don't let anyone else in, because that space is just for you. And I'm not speaking just physically, but yes, physical atmosphere helps as well, but also space within you as well. I hope this video was helpful. This topic is actually very large. I can go on and on about all the things that you can do, but I want to make sure I don't bombard you with all these information, and you get to at least learn a little bit and start applying these things. Sometimes when you have too many information, then you don't know where to begin. But when you start doing at least one thing out of this video, if you start applying it to your life, see how it works for you, and then kind of grow from there. And you can come back and comment below as well if you have applied these before, or if you're applying it now and if it's working for you. I hope this video was helpful. If it is, please share this video with others. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the notification button. I'm very determined to creating weekly videos for you guys to empower you to live your best version of yourself. Until then, namaste.